Hey, I know I've been promising you the maiden voyage of the Sunlite 21TH toy hauler. Well, here it is. I'm sorry it's taken so long, just been really busy. Lots of stuff going on, but yeah, anyway, our maiden voyage. We took delivery of the camper a week before we left, and there were some things I wanted to do to it before we left. Um, Suspension was one thing that I had been researching. This is the first trailer I've ever had that's got leaf springs, and I wanted to kind of mitigate some of the bumpiness of having straight leaf springs, no shocks, that kind of thing. Um, did a bunch of research on it, made some mistakes, and we'll go over that. But here's my 21TH. Right after delivery, we had just gotten it home, getting it all ready to go. I like the layout on this trailer. I like the weight. I was towing it with a half-ton Ram 1500 with a 5.7 Hemi. Had no issues towing it. However, I have upgraded trucks since then. Here's the banner I put on the back just to advertise my racing and my YouTube channel. And just a couple of things. Once we got it home, we found something we missed during the PMI. And there's a fold down in the middle of the sofa, and the cup holder tray was damaged. Wasn't an issue. They had us a new one within a week. Actually, they had it quicker than that. They had it before we even left. I didn't pick it up till we got back. But the warranty service from All RV in Connecticut's awesome. They got that for us. And here's just a couple of pictures of the inside of it. Uh, Kitchen area. I mean, you've seen these on YouTube. A lot of dealerships post reviews of these. You can also see the wireless leveling system I have on there. It's Beach Lane, and you can get it on Amazon. You can look at it on your phone, and it tells you whether you're level, left to right, front to back, and it makes it great because it's so much easier. Uh, Another picture of the back. The big hole there for the fireplace. We did order the fireplace, and we received it when we got back, and I'll talk a little bit about that. I did get my TV mounted. Wasn't too much of an issue finding a stud, and TV mounted up, no issues at all. Just another picture of the back. I did use the bolted on system for the two bikes that we took to Daytona. I brought my 2018 Harley Davidson Ultra and my 21 Aprilia RS 660 race bike. They both fit in there, no issues. And the bolted on system is definitely the way to go. You don't have to drill any holes in the floors. It uses your existing D hooks that are mounted in the floors of the trailer. And it was a fantastic system, made it super easy. This was a big mistake. I talked a little bit about the suspension upgrade. I ordered the More Ride CRE 3000, didn't fit. I didn't do my due diligence when I was taking my measurements. I just said, oh, it must be a 33-inch wheelbase. Ordered this, put it on, and this is what happened. Not going to work. So, maiden voyage, you know, suspension upgrades a week before you go, and no way to replace it with what you really need. So, lesson learned. Here's the bikes loaded up in there. I did get some rubber floor mats to put under the bikes just to keep the floor and the camper looking good. Bolted on system, two wheel chocks. The bikes were super secure. They didn't move around at all. And it was actually a great system to have this mounted in there. Uh, we made a couple of stops on the way down. We stopped in Virginia. This is Eric from Kraken's Garage on YouTube. Go check him out. Does a lot of motorcycle content. Great guy. If you know what this jacket is, we can be friends. Enough said on that. But go check him out, Kraken's Garage. He's got a lot of good motorcycle content. Really a nice guy. Him and his wife invited us into their home. We spent the evening. We left the next morning, and we made another stop in South Carolina uh, to visit with my niece and her husband. We had a great time, and then we continued on to Daytona. Arrived at Daytona, 1,392.7 miles. Long trip, a lot of hours. Like I said, we had two stops on the way. Took us 3 days to get down, for actually 4 days to get down there. But that's how we planned out our trip. We were going to visit with friends and family, enjoy ourselves, have a nice vacation. We arrived at Daytona. One of the billboards out on the front side of Daytona, just thought it was cool, took a picture of it. It is the world center of racing. NASCAR Daytona 500. They do a lot of sports car racing there because they do have an infield portion of the track. And of course, the Daytona 200 for us motorcycle racers. That's the big premier race for motorcycle racing. And then in October, the American Superbike Racing Association does the Race of Champions. And that's what we were there for. Here we are set up in the camping area. We were right behind our garages. They got great little sites. You don't have a sewer hookup, but you do have water and electric, and they do have a pump out service that will come pump out your tanks for you. We had just basically gotten set up. I wanted to get the wheels off of the race bike really quick, get them over to the Pirelli guy to get tires put on, and yep, here I am suited up, getting ready to go out. First time back in 20 some odd years, and really had a great time. My results were horrible, and I didn't care. I was having fun. I was out on the big banks, and I've got other videos on that you can watch on the channel. So I got up one morning and was just kind of looking outside, and I saw this, weird. I'm like, that's a weird looking cloud. Well, they had a rocket launch. I missed the rocket launch, but I caught the aftermath of it, and the sun was just starting to come up. It was early in the morning, and I just thought this was cool, so I snapped a quick picture of it. You can see all the campers in the camping area. It was pretty well packed in there. Daytona overdone on the way back. We made two stops on the way back. One stop in South Carolina to visit with some dear friends, and then one stop in North Carolina to visit with some very old friends that we were racing with back in the 90s. Uh, Here we parked the truck in the camper because there was no way we were getting up the mountain to their house with the camper. It's like little switchbacks, and it's tough. So, and there's a whole nother story to this. You can go on my other channel, MSG Retired. I did a whole thing about the HOA horror and some other things that are going on with that. The Sunlite has had quite the life. It's anyway, go over to that channel, MSG Retired. Check out the HOA horror story and get a chuckle out of that. But we stopped there, had a lovely visit. This is a view off their back deck. They're up in the mountains, very close to Asheville, I think. But just gorgeous, just beautiful area. And what a view. Sit out on your deck, have coffee, and check that out every day. So we got back. Um, the fireplace had arrived the next day almost. I had them hold the shipment until I knew we'd be back. Install the fireplace. It was super easy. Dealing with them was fantastic. This is straight from the manufacturer. Uh, you know, they make it, they make that opening to fit this particular electric fireplace, the ambiance and the heat that it puts out, it does really well. However, all the pictures I had seen of previous 21TH toy haulers, right behind where that fireplace is, there was a 110 electrical outlet. Mine wasn't there, and I was scratching my head. They put it in the cabinet next to it. Made absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. So I had to drill a hole through the side of the cabinet with a hole saw to get the plug through to be able to plug the fireplace in. I I don't know what to say about that. Um, doesn't make any sense to me. Something they may want to look at and say, hey, when did we start putting it in the wrong place? Because that's definitely the wrong place. Absolutely no need to have a single 110 outlet inside that little cabinet. Made no sense to me. Drilled a hole, got the fireplace up and running. It heats up the trailer really quick and does a great job. It'll be good for those chilly mornings, especially early in the season when I'm up at Loudon, New Hampshire. Um, let's see, what else have we got? Something else that makes absolutely no sense. So you all know it's got a Murphy bed, falls up against the wall in the back. Why would you put two USB charge ports and two 110 outlets on a wall that's covered up by the bed? So you can think, well, maybe I could put well, you can't really put a shelf because when you put the bed up, see what I'm getting at? The wall right across from it, there's absolutely nothing on it. Would have been a perfect place for a couple of USB charge ports and a couple of 110 outlets that you could put a shelf and put whatever you need to charge or whatever you need to plug in on it. Um, so if you guys are listening, put it on the other wall. Those are the only two gripes I have about this entire rig. I love the layout, very no frills. Um, it's got everything you need, but those were the only two complaints. I had the one warranty issue, and we had one additional issue that I'm going to talk about. When we got down to Daytona, we hooked up to city water. Shortly after, my wife found a puddle on the floor right outside the bathroom wall. I couldn't figure out where the water was coming from, but there was a pretty decent little puddle starting to form there. And I got to talking to my neighbor who's been RVing for a while. He said, it's easy fix. He said, in your shower, most likely one of the connectors, they just screw on to the faucets. One of them shook loose and it's seeping a little bit of water. Check that out and you should be good. All you're going to have to do is just cut the sealant around your faucets, pull it out, and you can get to those connectors, tighten them up. You should be good. Well, he was 100% right. Go out of sequence a little bit. Way out of sequence. All right. So there's a panel underneath your shower. Two screws, that plastic panel comes off, and you can get to the hoses that go up to your shower connections. So I checked them, and the one closest to me, the right faucet, there was a little bit of water running down the tubing. So that confirmed that's where the water was coming from. And what I did was I just took a razor and I cut that sealant all the way around, cleaned it all off, pulled that plate out, and sure enough, that one connector was just a little bit loose. Just gave it another little twist, tightened it right up, checked it, turned the water back on, and no more leak. So easy fix, and it kept us from, you know, having to disconnect water because I did use the shower a couple of times. Plenty of room in there, plenty of water from the 6-gallon hot water heater. Worked out great. It was kind of nice having that. Let's see where we're at. All right, so we're going to go up. We're going to talk about the suspension again. Once we got back, this is what I ended up with for suspension. It's the Easy Flex system. It's made by Dexter. Dexter made the axles. It is an exact matchup to the equalizer that was in there, the solid hard one. This one adds that big rubber cushion that kind of dampens the shock going up into the frame. So that's going to keep things from shaking apart in the trailer. Here's the difference between them. You can see that the spread on the MoreRide, it's a wider spread and it's a taller spread, and that just wasn't going to work. I really like the MoreRide. It gives you that little 3-inch suspension buffer, but it just will not work on a 21TH. So just something to keep in the back of your mind. You know, if they tell you to measure twice, because this definitely did not fit. The other thing, I bought the MoreRide X Factor frame support, and I wanted to put it in the center because they recommend if you're only getting one, put it in the center. Well, when I went to put it in the center, it would have cleared the low point in the fresh water tank, but it would not clear the drain. The drain was, I mean, dead smack in the center of where that crossbeam would have went. So I had to move it to the back and I install that. I'm probably going to put one on the front as well. And that just stiffens up your spring hangers and makes things a little bit more sturdy with your frame. Um, is it needed? Probably not, but I'm just one of those kind of guys. If you could beef something up, I'm going to beef it up. I'm never going to be taking this off road. I'm never going to be doing anything crazy. It's going to be going to the different racetracks, and it's given us the comforts of home while we're away at the tracks. Or if we decide to go on a trip, go camping, we may be going back out to Sturgis. This will be a great camper for that. We'll have, you know, you've got your refrigerator, freezer, your stove, your oven, your microwave, your big sink, hot and cold water, a shower, a toilet, a very comfortable bed. I can't believe how comfortable that bed was. I slept well. I was probably a little tired too, but I mean, I slept like a rock on that mattress. That was fantastic. You've got a nice sofa to sit on, watch TV. Now we've got a fireplace for a little ambiance and a little bit of heat if you need it. But really a great setup. I really like it. It towed well with the half ton 1500 Ram with the 5.7. It towed really well. Um, I thought it would tow better with a 2500. So now I've got a 2026 Ram 2500 with the 6.4 liter Hemi. Gave this a little test tow, and tow's amazing. There's none of the little kind of wiggles you'd get out of a half ton with the suspension. Uh, Much stiffer suspension on the 2500. I think it's going to make it a lot nicer for towing. And yes, it is the end of season, so uh, I keep it plugged in. I'm going to keep it plugged in all winter. I go out there from time to time. This is a carcover.com universal cover, 18 to 20 foot. It fit on there perfectly. It's a little bit baggy in the top front, and that's because it's not really made for the rounded front of the Sunlite, but really a nice cover. It fit well. It was easy to put on. It's got straps all around it. So she's tucked in. The zipper on the other side is perfect. You zip it down, and the door is right there, so you can get in and out of the camper as needed during your off season. And like I said, I'll go out and check on things. Um, I'll go out. I'll turn on once it gets cold and we start getting snow. I want to go out and see how long it takes that fireplace to heat it up. I'm sure it will do a great job. And that's it. That's the maiden voyage. It was, gosh, a lot of miles. 2,000 came out to 2,800 miles total round trip. Nobody prepared me for what I would find once we made our first stop and I went in the back and looked around. It looked like a woodworking shop that doesn't know how to use a vacuum. There was sawdust everywhere, mainly from the holes they cut in the ceilings for the vent fans and the air conditioning and all that. All that sawdust that was up in there kind of shook out and was all over everything. So I've got a little Milwaukee vacuum and got in there and vacuumed it all out. And I haven't seen any more of that shaking out anywhere. But overall, it was a great trip, minus the HOA horror in North Carolina. Go check out that on my other channel, MSG Retired. Uh, it's actually pretty. It's funny now. It wasn't funny when it was happening, but go check it out. And if you have any questions, if you're considering a 21TH, leave a comment. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you have. I've been very happy with the Sun Park RV response to any questions I've had. They were quick to respond with the warranty part. They were great dealing with them for getting the fireplace. I think it was $206 plus shipping. It was less than $250 to get it shipped to me, and I had them hold it and ship it later on because I didn't want it sitting out on my porch, a week before we got back. And it worked out perfect. It came in like the day after we got settled back in, and easy install. No other issues. I only had the two gripes, if you really want to call them gripes. I'm sure there's workarounds. Like I said, I worked around, drilled a hole. I'm sure I could, maybe hang up a net, a wall net to stick your phones in to charge above the bed. That would probably work. As far as the 110 outlets, I mean, you could put a wall wart in there, but there's really no need when you've already got two USB port chargers right there. So, not sure what they'd be good for. Maybe when the bed's down. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, hope you enjoy the video. I told you I'd get this to you, and I'm finally doing it. So, hey, if it's off season for you, yeah, you know, we got to deal with it. I have winterized. I'm all set, ready to go. Can't wait for next season. Have yourself a great day.